Hey everybody, come on into the room. It's Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z. It is Rebound Your Health TV. It is Thursday, January 25th, 2018, and I'm going to wait for you guys to come on into the room. I am here. It is 8:01, and we want to get started and find out. I'm going to wait for a few people to get in. I'm just trying to make sure all our settings are all good to go. And essentially, what we want to talk about today is sitting the new smoking? And I'm excited to actually talk about this topic because it sounds a bit drastic, right? And when you get in here, just hashtag MVP. Let me know you're here. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Kesey. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast. Come on in. Come on in. Sharing is caring. Hit that share button. You might have a few friends that wanted to be here today, or you think it might be beneficial, so go ahead and invite them on in. Hey, girly, nice to see you this evening. It's a perfect time for me because my kiddos are in the bed, so we're going to try this new time out, okay? And you guys let me know. Definitely give me some feedback if you think this works out good compared to earlier in the day. Sometimes I try to do that on the weekend. But come on in. Come on in. We're going to probably give about 90 seconds, and I'm really, really excited to jump into this conversation because some of you look fit. Some of you feel fit and feel healthy, but you actually may be at really, really high risk for earlier death. And I really think it's an important topic because sometimes we think we're doing all the right things, but it's just a couple of more things that if we changed our behavior, we really could extend our life expectancy and just our overall vitality, right? So that's really, really important. So come on into the room, hit like, hit share, invite somebody in. I think there's an invite button below. So go ahead and do that. Make sure that anybody and everybody who needs to hear this information can hear it. Like I said, even my people who are really kind of fitness enthusiasts or think they're fairly healthy, it's actually extremely important. So go ahead and invite your friends and family. You might have a mom, an uncle, especially if those of you out there who have sedentary jobs, or you have a creative type of job, or you're administrative, or you do a lot of creative type of things. Our creative workers actually in our work field, they sit a lot because a lot of that creation or thinking and meetings and administratively, it requires a lot of sitting. And you may say, oh, but I work out. I'm good. Not necessarily. And that's what we want to talk about today. So go ahead. Hi, Sharifa. Hi, Mom. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast. Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Zarina. Go ahead and click share at the bottom. I'm going to wait maybe 60 more seconds. And we're going to jump right into it. Of course, this video will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Z. So you can also find us there. But I'm going to give people a few more minutes or seconds, I guess. And we're going to jump right into this, okay? Because like I said, I think this is an extremely important topic for even those who think they got it all together. They think for the most part, I'm good. And a lot of times we actually not as good as we think. And so I just want to share a couple of facts with you guys that are extremely important, as well as a few tips, right? To get us on track to make sure that we are going to be doing all the things that we can do much as possible within our control, that we can to make sure that we get it all in. All right. So I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys know me. I am Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z, your sports medicine and integrative pain management physician, here to help people just like you to basically help you rebound your health and ultimately obtain pain freedom. That pain freedom comes in the mind as well as the spirit as well as the physical, right? And not always is physical. Sometimes the manifestation is coming through because there's other pains that we have, a mental pain, emotional, spiritual even, that is affecting the manifestation of that physical pain. And we have to treat you as a whole person in order to get you to your next. And I do this through my speaking engagements. I do this through authoring books, through authoring and writing in different articles and magazines and such, speaking engagements, my concierge and medical practice, as well as telemedicine, as well as my coaching program. I do this and I try to create as many platforms as possible to reach you in every way possible, to really reach around the world. And because this information is so critical, no matter where you are in the world, right? So go ahead, click share, like I said. Welcome to Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Zarina. I am Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z, and we're about to jump right into this. Before I get into the nitty gritty of like giving you all the some really great tips actually to make sure that you don't become a statistic, I'm going to read off a couple of those statistics. There's actually so many. And this research comes from some of the most respected and well-respected journal articles as it relates to the Mayo Clinic, the American College of Internal Medicine, and such. So I want to make sure that I'm not just giving you some fluff. This is not Google Doctor. This is really evidence-based information that have been studied over the years. So this is not something that just came out either. Hi, Dr. Tanya Nguyen. Thank you for coming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to the broadcast. So one of those big statistics is that there is a 1-to-1 direct relationship, guys, to sitting and mortality. In other words, death. And that's by any cause. So that basically what that boils down to, that means that even if you work out, you may say, I work out 3-4 days a week. What you talking about, Dr. Z? Hi, Dr. Tony. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. You may say, I work out, Dr. Z. I work out, 3 to 4 days a week. I always work out. But how many hours a day do you sit? And what the studies have shown us, and actually repeatedly, so not just one study, multiple studies. Hi, Tucson. Thanks for joining us. What it has shown us is that even if you are someone who works out 3 to 4 days a week, if you sit more than 10 hours a day and if you sit more than 30 minutes per interval, that you can increase your risk of death. All right. Early death, earlier. So you're going to die, death. I know this is not a great conversation, but I have to get this information to you guys in this way. Hi, Sabika. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the broadcast. Click share and get this information to out as many people as possible. Is that's going to increase your death potentially by 200% by any cause. That means diabetes. That means heart disease, high blood pressure, even cancer, even if you're not a smoker. And the reason why that title is there about, is sitting the new smoking, because what we found is that sitting and smoking have they're equal in terms of high risk for a heart attack. So you may not be a smoker, but if you sit for 10 hours in your day, and of those 10 hours, 30 minutes or more, you're sitting in those intervals, then you are at risk. And I don't feel good about that. I can't sit on that. I can't pretend that that's not, true. And so that's not a conversation that we always get to get deep into in our conversations in the exam room, but that's what this conversation is about. So a lot of you out there, that's right, Dr. Tanya, can you imagine that? That is huge. And a lot of us do, right? A lot of us sit for long periods of time. And so that's what this conversation is about. And at the end of this broadcast, I'm going to give you some 3 really simple but big impact things that you can do to make sure that you don't become a statistic. And also share this with your loved ones. Share this with your mother, your father, your uncle, your sisters, and your cousins to make sure, because I know that we all know that this risk is that a lot of people, including ourselves, may be at risk as well. What we also know is that since 1960, the rate of active jobs has decreased from 50% back in the 60s. There was at least half the jobs were active kind of jobs to 20%. 20% of our American jobs are active jobs. That's a big deal, because you know why that's a big deal? Because the correlation to obesity, which then is also linked to all these other preventable diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, that obesity was also directly related. From a statistic of 13% by 1960, the obesity rate was 13%. Now it's actually 36%, and some actually even say 45%. Which is probably actually really more accurate. And that's the huge, huge, huge thing. Thank you, Dr. Tanya. Thank you, Dr. Tanya. Hi, for sharing that video. This is a huge, important topic. Again, it's not like a soft topic. I know I'm going to be talking about death because that's a real thing too. We all will go someday. And some people, I got to go sometime. But you're here for a purpose. You're not here to just be existing. You're here to live fully and unapologetically. And it's people that also depend on you who love you. So if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your loved ones. Because at the end of the day, we're here to live full. Okay. So this is not about just existing. And that's why this information, and that's why this topic today is so, so important. Hi, Danielle. Mwah. Thank you for joining us. So another statistic, they did a study. This was, I believe, the Mayo Clinic. Don't quote me on that one, but it was, again, all these are sources are reputable research sources where they followed over 8,000 adults, across races, and it didn't, regardless of race, but they were all adults, and they followed them over, definitely over a decade. And what they showed was that the people who sat 12.3 hours in their day had a 200% increase of risk for early death. 200%. Now they thought, oh, well, maybe it's because as older people get older, they just typically become more sedentary in general, right? So that would explain why they had an earlier death. And in general, that was the case. But here's the problem with that. It doesn't have to be so. So when you're looking at the situation, I get this from some of my loved ones who may be watching me today that, oh, I'm old or I'm getting old. Nay, nah, la, none of that. We're not talking, that's not a language that we want to use. MVP mindset and MVP language, MVP behavior. You're living, you're here. As every breath that we have on this earth, as long as we're here, you're living and living fully. So even if you're 65 and you're listening to my voice, you're 55, 45, 35, 25, you are all going to be in the same risk category if you sit 10 to 12.3 hours in your day. And you might say, well, I don't sit 10 hours a day straight. Again, going back. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Go Up broadcast. Click share, and make sure that everybody that you love can get this information, even if they catch it on a replay, okay? But at the end of the day, we absolutely are at risk. And again, that's across all preventable diseases and all diseases. That included cancer, colon cancer and stomach cancer being the highest ones that people are at higher risk for, as well as diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. And if I missed one, y'all go ahead and put it down. When you get into the broadcast, everybody, hashtag MVP. Let me know you're here because I would love to give you some love and make sure that I acknowledge you. So hashtag MVP when you get in there, and we'll definitely make sure that we're going to say hello. So one more statistic that I wanted to share with you was that what they also noted that in order for you to undo, this is a big one. And I thought, because I didn't actually know this myself in terms of the numbers. But what they found was that if you sit, again, if you're part of that statistic, and actually raise your hand, let me know, say me or raise your hand, let me know if you're part of that statistic, meaning that you have a job that requires you to sit 10 to 12 hours a day. Now, again, you may say no, but caveat, it's still you raise your hand, because if you at work for 12 hours a day, you're probably sitting at least 9 to 10 of those 12 hours. Again, right? Or if you are there 10 hours a day, you're probably sitting about 8 to 9 hours. You might have only got up for your lunch break and possibly to go use the bathroom. And how many of you almost never go to the bathroom because you just don't move? You just all in it. So that may be you. That may be you. So what we do, what the study showed was that you would have to do 1 hour every day of intense activity and exercise to undo just 7 hours of sitting. Now, let me know. Hi, Dr. Shara. Hi, Dr. Shara. Thanks for joining us. Now, let me know by raising hands as well, or you can just say me or not, no way. Who actually has the energy or the time or the desire to work intensely for a whole hour to undo just 7 hours of sitting? And actually the real study was 6 to 7 hours of sitting. That's a big deal. I'm one of those people that it has to be about efficiency. How many, you're out there, your mothers, your daughters, your caregivers for people, your high performing professionals, your stay-at-home moms, which is a high performing professional, your teachers, your doctors, your all kind of stuff. And then you're working really hard. You come home and do all those other hats. And then you're supposed to work out an hour intensely, not light exercise. That won't undo it. And moderate exercise won't undo it. You actually have to do 70%. That's basically your basal metabolic heart rate, which is in the burning fat zone, right? We talked about that, a little bit of that. If you'd like to get more information about that, that's also on our YouTube channel, Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. with Dr. Z on YouTube. Oh, I might be good. I run the bathroom all day from the water I drink. All right, Dr. Tanya, you might be good, because I'm actually address that in the tips right in just a few minutes. Hi, Tracy. Wow, intense. Yes. And 70% basal metabolic heart rate. If somebody could put that down, 70% BMR, to undo 6 to 7 hours of sitting. So 70 to 7. That's kind of what we're talking about, right? 70% to 7. If that's what you want to remind yourself that throughout the day, 70% heart rate of intense exercise for an hour to undo 6 to 7 hours of sitting. And I don't personally have time to do that. So I did last year for 6 months, but I certainly fell off that momentum. You did intense exercise for an hour? Whew. Well, yeah, that's pretty dope. Or if that's not what you meant, clarify for me, and I definitely I want to make sure I understood what you meant by that. So anyway, that is definitely extremely important there, guys. 70% of intense exercise, which equivalent to 70%, 65 to 70% of your basal metabolic heart rate for 1 hour of intense exercise, just to undo 6 to 7 hours. Thank you, Dr. Tanya. MVP behavior. Thank you so much. That's what I'm talking about. And that's not really that realistic, honestly, right? I mean, maybe you could fit it in, but then you'll also be completely stressed and dogged out or tired. The other things that you're at risk for is depression. Okay. Some of you don't like to talk about it. We may be scared and don't know how to talk about it. You may not even realize that it's actually linked and related to your sitting habits and how often you sit in the day. But the American College of Preventive Medicine, they did a large study where they actually did a direct and found significant direct correlation between those who sit 8 to 10 hours or more during the day and depressed mood and depression. And when that was corrected, where they increased their activity level, and not that even drastic, what they did was just had them every hour change positions or do something for 2 to 5 minutes. And that changed their depressed mood state. Now, I'm not suggesting that depression can be completely zapped only because every situation is different with exercise alone. But this is not new, that we understand that exercise is medicine for our physical and our mental health. We know that for a fact, and I'm just kind of reiterating that point. Hi, Akila. Thank you. Welcome to the broadcast. Hi, Sanida. Welcome to the broadcast. Mwah. Thank you. Go ahead and click share and make sure this information is shared with those who you love and who you care about. Okay, so I'm actually gonna open up quickly for some questions. If you have questions about hi, Mavis. Welcome to the broadcast. Mwah. If you had some questions about your specific situation, I'll actually take a question or two about that in relationship to your type of job. But again, reiterating the point that if you have a sedentary job, and the sedentary equates to our creative minds, you sit a lot because a lot of your job requires you to sit down and create from a cerebral perspective, right? Our administrators, our CEOs, our business people, our teachers even. Teachers don't stand as much as they used to. Our truck drivers, okay? This is happening and you don't even realize it. I challenge you from this moment, tomorrow and ongoing, at least for, let's say, a week or two. I want to challenge you to literally use your phone or a pad and document how many hours you actually sat. The way you can easily do that is to actually document how many times you stood up. That's probably easier than documenting how many times you how many hours you sat down. So from the time you got to work, from the time you left, how many times did you actually stand up and go somewhere and do something? That will be, and if you just think back on this last week, how many times did you do that? If you did not do that every hour at least, and did it for 2 to 5 minutes every hour last week, you did it every hour, then you are at risk. And how long have you been at risk? We have to change that. I'm not okay with that. And I can't not have this conversation with us, right? Because I love each and every one of you that can hear the sound of my voice. I invested a standing desk. Yes. And we're going to get to that. That's MVP behavior. That's awesome, Mavis. And not everybody's job will accommodate that or allow it, right? So I'm going to give you some options and some tips about what you can do in your job. That's why I said if you have some questions about your particular job setup and how can you get something in to make sure that you're not at risk, go ahead and type those below. It is a slight delay in the tele world or whatever, the Wi-Fi world. So I will get to those questions as quickly as I can as they come into me. I work for Walmart. I'm moving 7 hours out of 9 hours. Plus I'm heavy duty. But I see what you're saying. You said basically saying that you're moving throughout the day, more than you're sitting. And I can imagine that would be true, but that definitely would mean your risk for, just for that alone, your risk for death, for those other preventable diseases will be reduced. But if obviously we can talk about other things, hashtag standing desk. That's what I'm talking about, Dr. Tanya. Hi, Naima. Welcome to the broadcast, Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Z. Dr. Zarina, and go ahead and click share. Come on into the world says invite friends, and we're just having a conversation about your risk. Is sitting the new smoking? And indeed it is. We have known that now. The research supports it, and this is not new research. It's not new information, but I feel like we don't talk about it a lot, actually, be it in our exam rooms or just in general out loud. And so this is something I really wanted to make sure we did. What should I do to help get the weight off? That can be a loaded question, but in general, the biggest things that help with our weight, like besides the fact that you say you're moving a lot through your workday, is of course, food is medicine as well as exercise is medicine. And I also tell people that you cannot ever work out a bad diet. That is, you can't undo it. So our diets actually have to be on point, not strict, because I don't believe like you have to feel limited or per se or restricted or depressed about what you're eating. Your food absolutely needs to be exciting. Eating food is an experience, but you definitely need to know how to eat foods in the right combination. Okay, sometimes we just don't know how to do that, and I do have programs to help people with that, and I'll definitely leave the link at the end of this video and tell you how you can reach me for coaching programs and such if you need more information about that as well. Okay, but the best way, Tanya, to answer that question is to make sure that, again, the food and medicine, exercise is medicine, loaded question, but also can be other things that's impacting that. We do have to check labs sometimes to make sure there's not some other underlying hormonal reason why the weight may be there. And then under some cases also, your sleep and stress could be impacting that. So again, the kind of Dr. Zarina is, those who know me, been in my office, you know, I'm going to treat you from the bottom to the top and from the inside out and the outside in. It's not one size fits all, and it's not one dimensional. So that's why I truly encourage anybody who's interested in being a participant in your MVP life, okay, and a participant in rebounding your health and a participant in having pain freedom long term, to make sure that you can definitely contact me, and I'll give you that information at the end of this broadcast. Great question. I have a sitting job and I use my stairs 5 times a day. I use my stairs 5 times a day. Okay, you work from home. Great. And I'm about to get to the tips because you guys are giving me so much. Basically these questions and the way you're talking, giving me that info is definitely gonna help me with these tips. So tip number 1 is 3 tips, and come on MVPs, let's get in it. Y'all know how I do. I need y'all participation. So when the people that come later, they can actually read along as well. In the comment section, you're going to help another MVP to make sure they get the information. So when I say I'll have 3 tips for you guys today, you're going to put number 1 and then write out the tip, and you're going to be helping somebody else. And this is all about the community, right? We are MVP Tribe. We help each other. So the first tip is sit for less than 30 minutes at a time. So that's tip number 1. I need somebody to write that into the comments for me. Number 1 tip, sit for less than 30 minutes at a time. Example, this is the best way you can do that. Every 30 minutes, because now our phones are so smart that you can literally put like 20 alarms in that thing, right? Every 30 minutes or 45 if you're like, okay, I can't do every 30. I'm going to give you a little leeway and say every 45, but I recommend every 30 that your alarm goes off to remind you, because right now it's not a habit, right? You won't do it automatically because it's not a habit yet. But every 30 minutes, 45 if you just can't do 30 for, maybe professional reasons, that alarm goes off. And for 2 minutes, you're going to do something brisk. I don't care if it's high knees. I don't care if it's squats. And that's actually a great idea, because what I just implemented at one of my consulting facilities is that I kind of, I'm going to use the word coerced. I won't say forced, but in so many ways I forced my staff to every Wednesday now, what I call Wellness Wednesdays. We do squats. After our morning meeting, I collect anybody I see. And now we're up to probably 17 people, and we do squats after every morning meeting on Wednesdays, and we do squats, and we increase the squats every week. So that's something really simple. And it only takes us literally maybe 60 to 90 seconds to do that. But you know what that does? It boosts morale. It boosts our energy. Everybody walk away with a little pep in their step. And I told them about May, I'm gonna have y'all looking real bright. And it's just exciting. You just give that energy. You're there all day. You might as well get some blood pumping and have a good time doing it. So yes, number one, sit for less than 30 minutes. And yes, number one, sit for less than 30 minutes. Number one, sit for less than 30 minutes. Number two tip is when you, for 2 to 5 minutes, make sure this is clear so y'all can type it in correctly, right? Number two tip is for 2 to 5 minutes. This is actually obviously when you stop. For 2 to 5 minutes, you're going to do the brisk activity. And I just gave you guys some examples, right? And of course, you guys can write down some of those examples. But number two, MVPs, let's get that in here. Number two is for 2 to 5 minutes, you're going to do a brisk activity. Okay? There's a squat counter app too. Yes, I've seen that. I've heard about that. You're so right, Dr. Tanya. That's awesome. After timer goes off, after sitting, do something brisk. Yes, that's tip number 2, Naima. Thank you so much. You guys are rocking MVPs. I love it. I love it. So yes, that's number 2 tip. Number 2 tip for 2 to 5 minutes. You're going to, when that alarm goes off, for 2 to 5 minutes, you're going to do brisk activity for 2 to 5 minutes. Okay? Brisk activity, 2 to 5 minutes, and then you can sit yourself down and then get back at it. All right. But that's extremely important, and that will actually help. And that's not me just giving throwing that out there. That's something that actually has been studied. Okay. So this is, again, I'm going to give it to you real. All right. And the third tip is, this is a tip / a goal. Again, I want you a challenge. I'm going to challenge all of you. Hi, Tony. Hi, Carol. Welcome to the broadcast. Number 3 tip is sit, for less than 3 hours in the whole day. How many of y'all can do that? I know that sounds like, wait, what? Okay, we're going to give you the max. The tip number 3 is to sit no more than 3 hours in a day. That's tip number 3. Don't sit more than 3 hours a day. I'm going to repeat that. Tip number 3. Don't sit more than 3 hours at a time per day. Okay? That's tip number 3. He's like, how can I do that? It's really easy, because when you process the fact that you're at work for average person is 10 hours, I think, actually. Average American is actually at work for about 10 hours. But if you break it down that every hour, we're going to say 8, for instance, okay? You break it down at every hour, so at least 8 times in that day, or 8 to 9 times, you broke up your sitting by doing some kind of brisk activity. You can do kicks. Sometimes I promise you, it's kind of funny. I'm not your average doctor. I have been known to do a karate kick in the middle of the hall. And that just really was for me purpose. You know, it gets me blood pumping and I get that kind of energy. Walking down the hall. And, you know, just kind of, and it actually inspires some people to do a karate kick right after me. Just bring it to you, and it will totally help. Okay. Hi, Terrain. Welcome to the broadcast. Number 3, don't sit for more than 3 hours in the whole day. Yes, because what the studies actually suggest that as well. So you might say, is that possible? It is possible, because of when you breaking up your hours, like we just talked about. Not sure if I can do that. Virtual assistant. You can do that. You can do that. You're gonna break it up, because think about it from this perspective. If you, I swear I'm in my seat at work less than 45 minutes total. It's insane. That is insane. But this is the reason why, Naeem, I'm going back to you. The reason why you can do this is because even when you have that alarm go off every 30 to 45 minutes, and you get up and you do that brisk activity for like 2 to 5 minutes, right? And then those other times, what you can do is you can stand and pick up that cell phone, because you're talking anyway, right? Or pick up whatever phone you have, get a headset and walk and talk. You don't have to leave the room, but you might just literally be marching in place, or you might just be pacing on the phone. That activity alone is changing positions, because what the studies have shown is that even if you work out, when we talked about this a little bit earlier, hi Zakia, welcome to the broadcast. What we talked about a little bit earlier was that even if you work out 3 to 4 days a week or more, but you have a sitting job, right, for 10 to 12 hours, then you are still at high risk. High risk, actually, equal to smoking, even if you're a person that works out. And again, that's because of the sedentary lifestyle in the sense of the job. And also, you don't have any ability to have increase your bone density. Bone density increasing is also going to help build, of course, your vitality overall, but muscle as well as bone. And when that does, you're going to increase your risk for cardiovascular disease and also bone and muscle and pain and issues from that perspective. And it would take you, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but it would take you intense exercise of 1 hour just to undo sitting for 6. And imagine if you're sitting for 6 to 7. So that's a big deal. I walk and talk constantly. High five, MVP. And we're going to encourage and help everybody else on here to do the same. Oh, what if I stand up for lunch? If you stand up for, or if you could stand up for lunch. I actually don't recommend people walking and eating. That one I don't, Dr. Tanya. But you could walk and snack on some nuts. Yeah, maybe there's a snack break. How many of you are snacking? And that's going back to the other Tanya that was in here, your question about weight loss. Sometimes we're not eating enough calories, to be honest with you, but we're eating, well, I take that back. We're eating a lot of empty calories, but are not enough dense calories. Dense, and we can talk about that again a little bit later. But that's actually an important point too. Some people say, I don't eat that much. I only eat 2 or 3 times a day. That's actually probably part of your problem. And again, definitely reach out to me. I'll leave the link in the caption after this broadcast, so you'll know how to reach out to me to get more information about how to bring that together through our coaching program. I'm on the computer 90% of the time. Exactly. So let me ask you a question. Is it possible typing and bending? Typing and squatting. You could do that, but you won't be doing that all day. You might literally just, like every hour, you might stand up and like squat while you're typing, right? For 2 minutes and then sit back down. But the idea is that you're constantly moving more often than not during the day. So you just gave me an idea. That is something you really can do. Or you might even get an exercise ball where you can rotate your pelvic area. Y'all see how mobile I am? I'm trying to do a lot of movement. But you could actually get a exercise ball and use that as your desk chair and do some pelvic motions as well as ab crunches kind of thing, or even marching in place where you lift one leg up, put it down, one leg up, putting it down. What that is going to do is kind of challenge your core, but also you're actually activating your lower body muscle groups, in particular your hip flexors. So that's activity in itself. So Naima, I'm glad you gave those examples of what you're doing and all that, because those are some things that I would highly suggest, and that can be really beneficial, not just for Ms. Naima, but anybody else who can relate to her job. Like she said, she's on the computer 90% of the time. How am I supposed to move more than I'm sitting? And those are some examples. So watch this replay, and for those of you who missed some of those tips, but definitely that. Hi, Sahara. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the broadcast. I just recently had my bone density check. It's A1. Awesome. I love that. I love that. MVP. High five. Okay. And okay, I understand. And protein. Yes. Protein. I probably should do another broadcast about protein versus complex carbs, because there's a big misunderstanding about that. Carbs are getting a bad rap, and they shouldn't be getting a bad rap because they actually are critical for energy as well as weight loss, actually. So anyway, I'll have to do that on another video, but thank you for bringing that up. Protein. Maybe I'll do that soon, a broadcast. If you guys let me know if you think that might be a good topic, because I only really want to talk about what you guys want to talk about. Yeah, to keep those juices moving in the spine with the leg ball. Yes, exactly. I have to watch from the beginning once it's over. No problem. Yes, do that. And I hope this will be beneficial. And if it is beneficial, go ahead and click it, like it, share it, and hopefully everybody else can benefit. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it for me. I don't want to belabor the points or even extend your evening longer than it needs to be, but I pray and hope that this was actually really beneficial. That is obviously the goal. I only want to really talk about what's going to be important to you guys. So if you think a topic such as protein versus carbs would be a helpful conversation, in particular as it relates to energy. Some people have low energy as it relates to weight loss even. Even my athletes, believe it or not, my real intense athletes, they are even confused about proteins and carbs. So maybe that just needs to be on the list. If y'all think it will be helpful, you can DM me, inbox me at Dr. Zarina through all across social media. When should you have a bone density test? That's going to typically depend on your, I just went blank. history sometimes, but typically when you're getting into that senior year, it's like 45 to 55 in that range. But definitely speak to your family medicine physician about that, because sometimes they want to check a little bit earlier based on other labs. Great question, Dr. Tanya. Great question. And please make sure all you have a family medicine physician, because that is actually a critical point about that in terms of making sure that certain labs are going to always be intact to make sure that we are staying preventative, okay? You're the bomb diggity dude. I love you guys. You guys are bomb diggity. MVP tribe, always rocking it. Oh, more questions are coming in. I was just about to sign off, but let me answer some of these questions. Thank you for this information. Mwah, you're absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome, Dr. Tanya. What about the opposite situation? Jaden back hurts a lot. He stands up 8 to 10 hours. His could be related to weakness still, actually. So it may not be so much that he could have weakness in other areas. Sometimes there's a muscle imbalance between certain muscles, and if other muscles are maybe stronger, but some of those I call them accessory muscles, but other muscles are not so strong, then you can actually have some issues as well. It also could be a malalignment issue. It could be a couple of things. So you definitely want to get kind of evaluation. Again, I'm kind of a head to toe, and make sure that sometimes where the pain is not always the root cause. I have some patients who have back pain, but the back itself is not the root cause. And so we have to make sure we get to the root cause. So great question. Hope that was a little bit helpful. Yes, yes, yes. Protein and carbs combo is definitely needed. Okay. I will definitely add that in there. Thank you, Dr. Carmen. Thank you for joining us. And Sinaida Salon says, hey, Assam. And thank you, Jawa. Don't have learned a lot. Well, inbox you some things about me. Absolutely. Okay, guys, have a great, great night. It is Thursday, January 25th. You guys know me. I'm Dr. Zarina, also known as Dr. Z. This is Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Z. You can catch this video within 24 hours or any other videos, past episodes, on YouTube at Rebound Your Health TV with Dr. Z. And don't forget, you can follow me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Dr. Zarina. That's DRZARINAH. And inbox us with any questions. You may have questions or topics that you would love for us to kind of cover in the future. And I'll be happy to do that, because that's what I want to talk about, what's important to you. So don't forget that. And don't forget also that, again, I'm here to help you rebound your health. I'm your sports medicine integrated pain management physician, here to help you reach your pain freedom goals long term. Pain here, physical, that is the goal here. And I do this through my concierge practice, my medical practice, my coaching programs, speaking engagement and authoring. And don't forget, you can also actually, now I'm so excited, I'll put that link in the comment section below, where you can actually reach out for your free discovery session. I know, free, don't have that often. This is a complimentary, because I want to really dive into this and giving you guys an insight to what can help you to the next. I'll put that link below in the caption as well as in the comment section, so you can reach out to us for your free consultation. All you have to do is click that link and schedule, and we'll get you right in. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, because this is a virtual consultation visit. We'll put that link in. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys soon. Mwah.